It's good to see you all. How did you sleep?
Good.
Good.
Longer than yesterday.
Yeah.
Much needed.
Well, that's awesome. We're so glad that you're getting your health and rest that you need. Can you walk us through your post-sleep routine? I mean, I know that there's a lot of time dedicated to that, so it'd be interesting to learn a little bit more about what that looks like on your end.
Yeah, I mean, I think mostly this morning we set alarms on our phones just in case we didn't hear a wake up song from Capcom. But luckily we did. We got a wonderful show of singing a kazoo. And so that was really great and just is a fun way to wake up. But I think also it's just nice to have that amount of time just for us to slowly wake up and get ready for the day, since the day usually does bring a lot. And we're all having to share 2 bathrooms. So that's helpful as well. I know Emilio woke up Umesh this morning, so that's part of his post sleep.
Wake up our resident deep sleeper.
So yeah.
No, yeah, we definitely had a long day yesterday, and then even longer day today up ahead of us. So it's definitely important that we get all the sleep that we need. But we got up, we got our kind of our morning routine going, got some breakfast, and kind of did a run through of what our day's gonna look like as a group, and then now you're ready for this interview. So
Awesome. Do you want to read off question 3?
Oh yeah, for sure. Hope you guys are doing so well. We had that you had a simulated oxygen leak in the gym yesterday. How did you troubleshoot that with the comms? Within the comms delay.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the problem yesterday was that we experienced a simulated oxygen leak while Umesh and Ariel were exercising. And so we received a green card that they were starting to feel unwell. We sent Emilio up to evaluate them and to get them down and give them the treatment that they needed. After that, we were able to go around the habitat and look for where the leak was. The difficult part about the anomaly yesterday was that we had been having trouble with our communication systems, in that the 20-minute time delay, was not set up automatically. And so one of the most difficult parts was that we were having to manually plan out, okay, this happened at this time. I can't tell Capcom for another 20 minutes. So remembering when something happened, when you're allowed to tell Capcom, it adds another level of chaos to an otherwise already very chaotic situation. I think, did work through it as to the best of our ability, and we did fix the oxygen leak. And now we do have our communication set up so that it is an automatic simulated time delay. So I'm looking forward to whatever mouths and whatever issues we encounter today, and seeing how we're able to work through this.
In addition, also with not just consulate, but we were able to look at, we have all the procedures, we have all our data sheets readily available. So even without comms, we were able to diagnose and see like what could be the issue, and we were able to walk through all of our procedures and steps to figure out where the problem could be and where the problem could arise without having to rely on Capcom as heavily or MCC as heavily, and we could do it on our own as well.
One of the most difficult parts about working with a 20-minute time delay is that frequently, especially with the medical procedures, Emilio had gone upstairs and he had run the specific procedures that he needed to for helping them with oxygen loss. But we didn't have a message from Capcom telling us that we needed to do that until 20 minutes after we had already run that procedure. So in a Mars analog mission, one of the most crucial parts of it is being able to determine what procedures you need to run on your own. And you really can't always rely on Capcom to tell you, here's what you need to do, because a lot of times that would be 20 minutes too late.
Additionally, even though we have the time delay with Capcom, I think we struggled a little bit with our communication with each other yesterday as well, because while Sophie was on comms with Capcom and trying to manually relay everything to them, the EVA suits that we were having to emergency don here in the hab, they require headsets or like headphones to be worn to be able to hear your other crew members. And because it was an emergency suit don, we were not completely prepared for that. And so we did not have all of our headphones down here on this level. And when you're wearing the helmet, you really cannot hear anything. And so while Sophie is up there trying to talk to Capcom, in which the rest of us are usually quiet, we were not, because we were yelling at the people in the suit because they couldn't hear us but needed to hear what we were saying. And so we're using the walkie talkies a little bit, but I think that was a good learning experience for us to realize, like, in an emergency suit dog, we need to be much more prepared in terms of how we can communicate with each other, especially in that high stakes environment. Because yes, we're communicating with Capcom and what they say is important, but like Sophie was saying, we can't rely on them for immediate things. And so talking with each other is that much more important. But, you know, if we're wearing a helmet, we can't hear each other, then that's not super helpful. So,
Oh, that's really great. Do you think there's a part of your training that kind of prepared you for this moment?
Yeah, so we did a numerous amount of simulations throughout the summer, mini sims and a full dress rehearsal, where we didn't do like until the full dress rehearsal, we didn't do a full 20-minute time delay, but we worked with a minor time delay as well, with a 5-minute time delay, where we still had to communicate amongst ourselves, figure out a problem, and then 5 minutes later inform MCC. And during our full dress rehearsal, before the actual analog astronaut mission, we did the full 20-minute time delay there as well, where we had to decide on what is our pleasant plan of action to do before MCC gives us the instructions on what to do. So we did have a lot of practice through these simulations that we've run to do this.
I also think we've done a lot of work talking through and learning about and trying to understand all of the simulated systems that we have inside the habitat. And so, for example, yesterday we had simulated low oxygen. And so, based on that, thinking through what are the systems that we have in our habitat, what could be wrong based on that information that we're getting. So, looking through, there's a couple different options of, okay, maybe we have a slow depressurization event where we just have a decrease in pressure, which is leading to less oxygen. Maybe we have a failure with our simulated oxygen generation system where that isn't working as efficiently and we need to go to an emergency EVA to fix that system. So there are a couple different options of what could be the problem. And I think doing that training and developing that understanding of those systems allowed us to think through, okay, here's the list of things. How can we confirm and go through sort of the list of options to identify the problem as quickly as possible?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I know you guys also have an EVA scheduled for today, um, with the ARAS rover. I know Umesh, that's your child. Um, been working really hard on that. Can you all tell us what that will look like for each crew member, and then also Umesh as a PI?
Yeah, so as a PI, the main purpose of this rover project is to understand how rovers can perform autonomously without needing human interaction in certain scenarios. So we can't have a operator driving the rover around every single time, and that requires constant communication. And especially if you're running the rover from Earth, you're going to experience a 40-minute time delay for any message. It's going to take 20 minutes for you to send a command to the rover, and 20 minutes for the rover to command back to Earth. So due to this, we need to make sure that the rover is able to move autonomously in such time delayed scenarios. So the main purpose of this experiment is to run a simple command on just various different trajectories, and we're going to see how accurate is the rover when I'm just running certain trajectories, and is it making the shape that I want it to? Is it making a circle? Is it making a figure eight? So doing this verification makes it so that, okay, just running this command, I know that the rover is very accurate in making these shapes. In the future, we can eventually say like, okay, now I want you to go to point this location, follow this path. It will accurately be able to follow that path and make it to that location. So that is the main purpose of this research project, is to understand how can the rovers operate autonomously without major human interaction.
I think
simultaneously, Umesh has worked a lot with the rover itself, and so is going to be in here running those commands and making sure that we're able to operate the rover. Simultaneously, Emilio and I are going to be doing an EVA going outside with the rover, and we're going to be running some procedures out there to set up the rover and observe it as it gets commanded to remotely. Yeah. So here it is. It's very cute. Very cute.
Thalassa.
Yes. And so yeah, we're gonna be setting it up outside and watching it go as the mission commands to it from in here.
That is some awesome footage right there.
Yeah.
It looks so much
And then we'll-
cooler in
So
post
we'll
or
be-
up close.
Constant communication with Capcom. Umesh will be talking directly to Ariella and Emilio when they're out doing their EVA. And then any important messages that Umesh relays to Sophie, she will communicate with Capcom so they're in the loop with how the EVA is going.
Currently, one of our EVA student helmets is broken, and so we have a time designated today to do some repairs. However, if we are unable to repair this helmet today, we will have to postpone this specific EVA.
Can you explain a little bit as to why it's a requirement that we have 2 astronauts per EVA minimum?
Safety. If something happens to one of them, the other person is responsible for helping them and communicating it back.
Yeah, definitely. It's always safety is going to be our top priority. So in case anyone has any type of issues, you always have someone else there who's watching to make sure that everything goes smoothly. So these EVAs are very dangerous. So we have to make sure that everything goes perfectly. So if there's anything that's not lining up correctly during at any point of the process of the EVA, it'll definitely be good to kind of have extra set of eyes on it. And then if we need to pull back and maybe postpone the EVA, that's always an option. So as much as we want to get the research done, we also have to be safe.
For our analog specifically, the one of the most important things of why we need the safety check of having 2 people out there is if you have seen the flight suits or if you ever worn a flight suit, they are hot. Even inside in the air conditioning, they are very, very hot. And we are in Arkansas in the middle of August, and it is getting up to 103 outside today. Additionally, we're carrying the backpacks with us when we go on our EVAs. I don't know exactly how much those weigh, but imagine going outside in the middle of summer in 90, 95, 100-degree weather for an hour while wearing winter clothes. That's kind of what doing an EVA is like. And we do train for that. We have done a lot of heat training leading up to this mission, specifically so that we have the safety check of we know how to handle ourselves in when we are very, very hot, and we know how to recognize the signs of heat exhaustion, heat stroke. So we are prepared, but part of being prepared is going into it, having two people who know what they're doing and are able to take care of one another.
Awesome. Well, we have 2 more questions for you.
Mm.
Do you want to ask the fun one?
Oh yeah, for sure. What has been your favorite meal so far, and what has been your least favorite meal?
I think the crew favorite has definitely been the yogurt.
No.
I like the yogurt. The other people seem to not like the yogurt.
Umesh ate all of it.
We tried. We saw the yogurt and we were like, okay, we have a freezer in our kitchen that we're really not using for anything because all of our food is, this freeze-dried, pre-prepared food. And we're like, okay, we have a great idea. We have yogurt for dessert. We're gonna put it in the freezer. We're gonna try and make a froyo situation. Maybe that'll help. It did not.
As I hope with our meals, it is better than I expected. Now,
Yeah.
this console 10. See how I feel about the food. But overall, I have been enjoying. I had the pot pie yesterday. That was pretty good.
I think the best meal I've had is the mac and cheese.
That was pretty good too.
Mac
Yeah.
and cheese.
But I think crew favorite has been the go-go squeeze apple.
It's the closest thing we have to fresh food.
Yeah.
And it's really hard because we get like max one a day. But otherwise, I think we would be through the
Thank you,
box
God,
already.
Tell people who are coming for breakdown to bring us some fruit. Some apples, some oranges. I really appreciate it.
We'll get some real food in you when the breakdown trip happens.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
What are you looking forward to eat when you're done with the mission?
Yeah.
I'm not even letting myself think about this right now.
Yeah, let's. Why don't we? Yeah,
Maybe I'll
we're
pull that
torturing
later.
you.
My God.
All right. For our last question,
Mhm.
what would you like the audience to know about the simulation at this point in time, or about yourselves?
It's going really good. I think we're all having fun. We're getting along well. We learned some new card games yesterday. I feel like we've gotten down for people who have cumulative probably been together for like 10 days in the past 6 months. I feel like we work really well with like keeping things clean. Our schedule's not getting too overlapped with like showering in the bathroom since there's only two for the six of us. Plus, like getting ready in the morning, getting ready at night, dishes, cleaning, as I said, making food. I feel like we're a pretty well-oiled machine, all things considered.
Yeah. And additionally to that, I mean, I was just reflecting this morning and thinking, I mean, this is seriously like the biggest, I guess, teamwork or group project I will ever do. And I will think about this experience for probably the rest of my professional career in terms of when anyone ever asks me, like, tell me about a time you worked on a team and you had conflict. I'm like,
Mm.
well, I can't tell you. And so it's really rewarding to, yeah, just seriously be with, five other individuals that, we're interdisciplinary in terms of our studies, which is also really valuable. And then, yeah, having to communicate with this, two other people that are on another planet and we have a 20-minute delay and then they're communicating with 30 other people. Like, I mean, it's just really, yes, it is all a simulation, but we are learning just so much about how to work with each other and then with a bigger team for a greater good. And so I think that is really interesting. And, some of the little things that we're doing might seem a little silly, but I think it all really is just reflecting on what we're all trying to learn here.
Yeah, I think another big point is like we're all bringing different skill sets to this mission, and like having to think about everything from how much water you're using to electricity to how much air you guys have. You know, you're really gonna need every single skill set imaginable. So my teammates have totally come together and have all continually surprised me with how much they know and how much they can get done. So I'm super excited to be part of this team, and such an honor to be working with these people.
Yeah, I'll think reiterating what they've been saying, a huge thank you to everyone here, but I also want to extend a huge thank you to all the people who are working so hard in Mission Control. I know yesterday was Soul 1, and so it went great, but we were still sort of getting into the hang of things and finishing up some troubleshooting and all of that. I know we were all saying we woke up this morning and we were like, we have working comms that didn't work totally at the beginning of yesterday. We have working telemetry and caution and warnings and a clock, and we got our uplink for the day, and we got our wake up music, and we're like, this is so cool. It's all like here and working. It's all super exciting to see it all come together. And so all those people have been working super hard to get all of that situated on the ground so we could have it all set up when we woke up today. It was super exciting. So huge thank you and shout out to all of you.
Yeah. Is there something that you guys have that have found to be more difficult than you expected?
I would say
I think we prepared for this level of difficulty. We're definitely ready to handle this level of difficulty.
Mhm.
But there is a difference between like being prepared in it versus actually being in the situation where you have to apply it. So we definitely learned all the skills that we need to handle this simulation. But once you're in the simulation, it is slightly different in the way that you have to recall all that knowledge you gained and you have to recall all that training you've done to apply it to the scenario. So we definitely can handle what we're doing. It'll just take some time to get ourselves into the hang of it, which is what yesterday was. And today we have a lot of tasks to do today and a few things that we have to get ready for, especially for the EVA as well. So I think we should be. I mean, it's going pretty good so far. So I think we'll continue doing that.
And I think additionally also, I mean, just one thing for me specifically, I don't know if y'all feel the same way, but looking at our schedule, we have a lot of, it looks like a lot of time between like post sleep, pre sleep, all of our meals being an hour. And then if we don't necessarily have a time block for something, and then like exercise, like theoretically, you would think that that's all time that we're not necessarily completely involved with something or critically thinking. But what I found is, I mean, from the time we wake up to the time we go to sleep, there's this mental load of always knowing, like, okay, we need to make sure we're communicating to Capcom and we need to make sure that we're preparing for this next thing in our schedule. And I need to make sure that I am prepared enough for if there's a green card that we're given for a MAL that we can actually simulate this. And so during the day, like we might not have a very specific either scientific or other thing that we're doing at that exact moment, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we just have time to just do nothing. Like it is a very heavy load on us cognitively to constantly be attentive to everything that's happening.
Well, thank you all so much for your amazing responses today. And so glad that our interview didn't get interrupted with some loud sound this time. Um, we hope you have a great rest of your soul today and enjoy the time that you have. And can't wait to talk to you again.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.